So Jim, I'd like to, I checked the directory at Grace Church. You joined our community back in 2005. So what was life like for you then?
Professionally, I was a shift manager at Point Beach Nuclear Plant, which was a responsible position. You'd say that I was relatively near the peak of my vocational career at that point in both levels of responsibility and levels of earning capability, and yet during that time frame, my personal life wasn't going very well. It was in a shambles, as a matter of fact. So I had been through a divorce in the 2000 to 2001 time frame, had remarried about 9 months later. I thought I was on the road to everything I had ever dreamed of, wanted, and prayed and hoped for. And that second marriage just started cascading out of control within 2 to 3 years. And so in 2005, I was separated. I was on the brink of a second divorce in 5 years, which was shattering to me because I wanted to be that person who was married 60 to 70 years and was that picture of what we think is a successful marriage, and that just didn't happen for me. I was in the do it myself mode, where now we'd say I was among the spiritual but not religious. And here, in my late 40s, in this time period of devastating divorce, the devastating impact that has on relationships and our finances, it just really shook me to the core. And I thought, I need something more than what this life has provided, and I sought the church. Funny story, the first Holy Week, this was spring 2005, before I was a member, I made the commitment, I'm going to make it to each one of the services during Holy Week, and I had never done that in my entire life. I got back to my apartment to change clothes, and to my horror, I realized as I was leaving for Good Friday worship that I had locked my keys in my vehicle. And having no phone, having no ability to get to worship other than run, I started out on the southwest side of Two Rivers, around 12th and Bellevue, and I ran to Grace Church that night, falling on a patch of ice, roughly in the vicinity of Dominick's Flowers on 12th Street, I believe. And I took a tumble, rolled, got up, and I thought, I'm going to make it there on time. And as I jogged up the hill to Grace Church, I came into the sanctuary right as the opening hymn was finishing. And there was something in that story maybe captures the strength of drive that was in me at that point to be a part of this church community.
What are those ministries that you observed at Grace Congregational Church that you think are just critical, foundational for a body of Christ to be the body of Christ, for the church to be the church? Through your eyes, what were they?
All three of them, I'd say the commonality is they reach beyond the walls of Grace Congregational United Church of Christ. One of the pieces that solidified my joining, that impressed me so much, was that roughly a third of the Grace Church budget is going to the wider church and mission and outreach. The fact that when the church came into some significant endowment money and was entrusted to share in the blessing of the interest off that endowment, that we had the opportunity to support important community and worldwide organizations. Those things are what compelled me and inspired me that this is what the church is all about. The fact that we supported this ongoing program of equal exchange that just dedicated money and our validity to the worth of developing nation farmers that would be pushed out of the market otherwise. The ongoing commitment of Grace Church to the Appalachia Service Project that took a robust group of youth and adults every year to work outside of our community. The efforts in the local community through the Two Rivers Ecumenical Pantry, the Hope House, were all things that extended well beyond the Grace Church walls that, in my mind, were an inspiration to me in terms of what the church is all about. The beauty of our relationships, as Kim shared before we started taping, I think these friendships will go on. This is part of who we are, our fiber and our fabric, and I will never ever drift far away from the roots in Grace Congregational Church.